Hello everybody, how you doing on this grey, dreary February day? Seems like that's every day so far. I'm Tanya from Tanya Talks. Welcome. If you're new here, a very warm welcome. Thank you to everyone who is subscribing and watching. Please hit that subscribe button. You can always unsubscribe later if you want to. Why? It's so much fun. Hit the ding-a-ling if you like this video and join our spooky crew. Anyhow, why have we got that cringe bit out the way? Let's move things along, shall we? Because yes, this is another episode of Mysteria. So, the other day, the last mysterious episode we did was about the Bennington Triangle, part 1. I'll link it up there for those who haven't seen it. And that went into the 5 main weird disappearances that happened in that area. So we're going to do Bennington Triangle part 2 that looks at some of the other strange things that happen there. It isn't all just strange disappearances. We did talk about it a little bit in that video as well, where there's talk of curses, enchanted stones that swallow people up whole without a trace. There's the local Native Americans say that the curse is on the land because the 4 winds meet there in a really unnatural, strange way, and they only bury their dead in the land. Now, it's been like more than 2 centuries of ongoing strange things, and there's been lights in the skies and unexplained odours and sounds that no one can explain, and there have been tales of Bigfoot. There have been loads of sightings of him up in the Glastonbury Mountains. And there was a sighting that was so prolific it became known as the Bennington Monster. Now, in the early 1800s, the stagecoach was full of passengers, and it had to stop on a washed out road because the weather was really bad and the roads got impassable. And they were sitting there sort of, I suppose, waiting for the weather to clear, waiting for it to get easier to move on, or waiting for help. And the driver must have got out, and he looked down, and he saw these huge footprints in the mud, and they looked to be too big to be human. And it was then that the vehicle was attacked by a very large creature who pushed the coach and managed to knock it on its side, and all the passengers could see was a pair of eyes that just like glared at everyone, until eventually it roared and ran off into the forest. Now, other sightings of it since then have said that it's large, very hairy, black sort of fur, over 6 feet tall. And before those main disappearances that were talked about in the other video, there was a strange event, a strange killing, as it were. In 1943, a man named Carol Herrick went missing during a hunting trip, which was a little bit like what happened to a lot of the other mysterious disappearances before. And this was 10 miles northeast of Glastonbury. There's a ghost town, again, talked about more in the other video. But his body, unlike most of the others in those disappearances, was found only 3 days later. And the body was surrounded again by giant footprints. And it appears that he had been squeezed to death. The weather patterns there are really strange. The wind does blow unnaturally, like the Native Americans say. They do have such strange weather patterns that just come in and go. And there was a modern tale of a man who sort of, it's still a hiking trail now. People do go there. There's no mention on the trail though of things happen. It might mention certain things. I can't remember. There's a signpost somewhere, but I'll try and put that up in the video. But it doesn't say anything about the shafts that are supposed to be on the mountain that you could fall in, the mine shafts and things. So it's almost like go out there, see what happens. You don't care. It's weird, but anyway. And he was on the trail because a lot of people obviously like to go out there and see for themselves and see what happens. And shit out lucky they do go missing, but that's on them. And he was doing really well on the trail, but he had to stop and find shelter because suddenly this like massive thunder and lightning storm came, and there was torrential rain, and it was really dangerous. So had to find shelter and just ride it out. And eventually the storm cleared, and it was fine, and he managed to get out of the trail and go to like outside of the Bennington Triangle area and was safe. But once outside of this area, they found that the area was bone dry. There was sunshine, there's no sign of a storm. And when they asked, it was said that there was no mention, no tracking of any storms in that area. But not just the Bigfoots and the disappearances and the lights and the odours and all that. Could there also be something on the mountain and in the triangle area that is causing people to go a little bit nuts? Maybe that's why people are going missing, because there is a killer, but it's not what people think. Because in 1967, this is leading on to some nutty things, not all murders and disappearances, but some nutty things that have happened and strange things. In 1967, in a cave near Somerset, there lived a wild man who lived in a cave, like I said, and they coined him the Wild Man of Glastonbury. Now, he would come into Glastonbury and the surrounding areas, and he'd wear this really ratty sort of coat, and he would harass all the women in the area. He would open this tatty ratty coat and have his knit. He was like a modern, an oldie fashioned. It was really, I don't know, because he'd have a lot of flash. He was a flasher, basically, of that time. And he would open his coat and show the ladies his like naked body. And I was like, shouldn't be, and I apologise, but it's kind of funny. That's why he was showing off his naked body. He would whip out his pistol and wave around and point at people if they went in to stop him or trying to stop him from harassing the women and showing his body. And then he would just like run back into his cave. So yeah, pistol whipping flashers. In 1892, Henry McDowell was a sawmill worker, and in a drunken sort of rage or a moment of insanity, he bludgeoned a co-worker to death. He bludgeoned a co-worker to death with a rock. Now, he said that he did this because he heard voices telling him to do that. He was caught and he was sent to a mental asylum, but he managed to escape and he vanished. No one knew where, no one knows what happened to him. 5 years after his little escape and murder, a man named John Harbour, a prominent Woodford citizen, who went hunting in Bidsford, Hollow? I can't remember my own. Bigfoot Hollow. Can't remember my own writing. I write my notes and it's like, what did I write? Bigfoot Hollow, I think. South of Glastonbury. He was shot by He was shot. No, you did. He was shot by a person or persons unknown. And then he was later found next to his fully loaded gun, and it looked like he'd been dragged several feet from where, obviously, he'd been shot down. Now, investigators at the time were mystified because they were like, how was he shot down so easy when he was out hunting and he had a fully loaded gun with him? And also, why take the trouble to drag the body and then place the fully loaded gun next to him? Obviously, the murder remains unsolved. Was that our asylum escapee? Did he kill him? And that's why it's so weird with the fully loaded gun. And was it some supernatural presence that managed to get him? And that's why he didn't have time to shoot back. All I can say is it is a very strange area with very strange things happening. And I, for one, would rather stay on the outside of it if I was going to have a look around. Just get a little glimpse and not go wandering into places that you may not come back out of. But what do you think? Like I said in the previous video, are they falling down mine shafts? Is it Bigfoot? Is it a parallel dimension loop that people are going through? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, as I said, thumbs up, hit the ding-a-ling, subscribe, join and be part of our weekly, whenever I post my videos, spooky crew of regular subscribers. Everyone who watches and subscribes and takes the time out to hang out with me when I rant and rumble and do all this. Thank you. You're so appreciated. I hope you're all happy and content and at peace and blessed and having a super duper amazing day. The rain can only fall for so long. Take time to take a nice deep centering breath, to look out the window, to have a nice beverage, watch your favourite show, read a book. Thank you for spending some of your free time with me. All the best. If you can't be good, be careful. And as always, I will see you on the flip side. Thank you for opening the crypt door and coming down into my pits of darkness once more.